Our question is, there is a high rate of drug use in track and field on opposing teams. Is this because of the players lacking self-confidence in their own abilities?
So our thesis statement was that track and field athletes do cheat because of lack in their abilities, and they want to be able to beat their competitors.
Our thesis is taking steroids in track and field is not due to the players' lack of self-confidence, but their desire to be the very best in their event that they participate in.
Athletes are intimidated by the opposing teams or athletes' size and/or scores. And one quote from Brian McKinney, who is a 6'8" offensive tackler for the Miami Dolphins, stated that athletes cheat because of players like me. My size and strength is tough to beat. Some of these athletes have families to feed, and they in turn take drugs to compete with big guys like me. This can translate into track because everyone obviously wants to be the best in their event. And if, for example, there's an athlete who has much better times or scores, they might turn to performance-enhancing drugs to beat those scores.
So, for a player in track and field that rises to the Olympic level, they should have enough self-confidence in order to sustain themselves. For example, in the article Self-Confidence, it says that low self-confidence can kill an athlete's enjoyment of the sport and turn him or her into a dropout statistic. So for somebody that rises up to the Olympic level, they should have enough enjoyment in the sport to be able to compete that high.
If they didn't lack self-confidence, they wouldn't use drugs to enhance their performance. Sports Illustrated interviewed a couple Olympic athletes asking, if you were given a performance-enhancing substance, you would not be caught and you would win, would you take it? 98% of athletes answered yes. When they changed the question to, if you were given a performance-enhancing substance and you would not be caught, win all competitions in 5 years, then die, would you take it? More than 50% still said yes. This shows that athletes lack self-confidence, and if they wouldn't use drugs, if they wouldn't need drugs if they didn't lack self-confidence.
An athlete's need to win can be overwhelming, and that does lead to them using steroids to maximize their performance, as it has been proven to show that little amounts of stress are beneficial to these athletes as they handle the stress better than non-athletes. However, too much can be overwhelming, as Ben Johnson had received a bronze medal in the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics. But when he went to the 1988 Summer Olympics in Korea, he was determined to improve. So he broke a world record, but was soon discovered to be on stanozolol, which is a performance-enhancing drug. So his need to improve and not receive another bronze medal is what led to him taking these drugs. So are you saying that stress can cause athletes to take performance-enhancing drugs? The stress of wanting to be better, the stress of wanting to improve. Why would they have the need to improve if they were already at the top? And if they weren't at the top, would they, if they want to improve, they have to beat those other people. And if they can't improve to that degree, then they would have to turn to performance-enhancing drugs, right? Well, to him, he wasn't at the top because he received a bronze medal, so that's why he wanted to improve. Some athletes also don't have the right genetics to be the best in their sports. David Epstein's book, The Sports Gene, talked about how genetics play a huge role in athlete success, and that there are certain genetic traits that make a great athlete, of course also with enough practice. Now, if some athletes lack certain genetics needed for their events, they most likely will turn to steroids or growth hormones to help them perform, and they wouldn't really need to perform better if they were at the top.
Okay, so back to what Jennifer kind of said. For a player in Olympic track and field to take steroids is to them a risk of being suspended if caught, but they are willing to take it because they want to be the player with the very best performance. For example, in the New York State Department of Health, it says that athletes do so to satisfy their desire for recognition and fame. Unfortunately, that creates some athletes who are determined to win at any cost, despite evidence that these drugs can inflict irreversible physical harm and have significant side effects. So, I think what they're thinking is that they don't care about the side effects or anything. They just want to be the very best in what they do, and they want to rise to the very top level and keep on improving.
To conclude, we stated that the track and field athletes do cheat because of lacking their abilities, and they want to be able to beat their competitors in their sport. And you might say that performance enhancement drugs is due to a lack of self-confidence, as they're not confident in their own abilities, and you may have a point, but this is true for minimal athletes, as others are competing to be the best, and the use of steroids is helping them achieve that. So when the city helps build a new sports stadium, who benefits the most, the city or the team? Our thesis was, when a new sports stadium is constructed with the help of the city, the team that the stadium is built for benefits the most, as the new stadium can increase the attendance of the fans at the events, changing the atmosphere in which these athletes are playing in. Our thesis statement was that when the new stadium is built in the city will benefit more than the team, because it brings tourism into the city, which in turn causes higher amounts of income.
The team, my claim was that the team benefits more than the city because they can make more money off of the fans. In the article, How has the new professional sports arena affected your city? It gives an example. In Detroit, citizens are being asked to help finance new sports stadiums, and it says, these proposed stadiums provoke strong reactions in part because they benefit wealthy big league team owners and their highly compensated players. Later it says owners of the teams, the big four sports leagues, the NFL, MLB, NBA, and NHL, have received nearly $20 billion in taxpayers' subsidies for new homes since 1990, according to Neil DeMoss, author of Field of Schemes. Even though a number of studies have concluded that stadiums are poor municipal investments, local politicians also support their construction because they foster civic pride and create local jobs.
Our claim was that it brings tourism to the city, which the stadium is built in, and it can create a new source of income for the city. And a quote from Forbes.com said that a stadium is an economic engine that will draw in tourist dollars and therefore increase standards of living in a city and the surrounding area. So when there's a game at that stadium, people from around the world who want to go watch their team play at that stadium will go into the city, and then they'll spend their money there because that's where they're going to be staying for the time of the game. Well, yes, the city actually receives more tourists and employment rates increase. The fans are truly coming to support the sports team, and so with the new accommodations at these stadiums, these fans will be able to purchase the same things that they would get outside the stadium, inside the stadium, such as food, new gear, and still support the team by paying for a ticket, food, all of that. So instead of having to go outside, and yes, the tourism increases while these fans are truly coming to support the team, so they're spending all their money at the stadium.
The city's income goes up when a stadium is built. According to Forbes, most of the $7 billion will come from public sources. Therefore, it will bring more jobs to the city and more income. Although some may say the team benefits the most when a sports stadium is built because taxes go up, however, there is more jobs for the city, more tourism bringing economic growth. Because when tourists come, they spend their money on hotels and food, and then when a stadium is built, there's more jobs for the people in the city, for the citizens.
Well, having a new stadium increases attendance, as we stated, and the team makes more profit on tickets and more money is spent at the stadium itself, as the NBA Kings had a new stadium built in 2014, and they hosted over 1.6 million people, and they've already made over $71 million. So they just built this new stadium, and they've already made over $71 million from just all the new fans coming, all the money already spent on the stadium. To conclude, we stated that when a stadium is built in a city, the city will benefit more than the team because it causes more tourism to be in the city when there is a sports event, and that will in turn cause higher amount of income to the city.
Alright. In conclusion, we stated that the team benefits more than the city because they can make more money off of the fans and all the merch bought by the the fans and inside the stadium, and yeah.